Wait, how does that song go? Hey guys, welcome back to T&Z Travel. My name's Tristan, and if you're new to our channel, get ready to hear all the travels me and Zach go on, with tips and tricks on staying on a budget, amazing eats that we can find, hidden gems that we can find, and more. If you guys love travel as much as we do, don't forget to subscribe down below and turn those notifications on so you guys don't miss anything. Now today's video is going to be part 2 of our trip to Colorado. If you guys want to see part 1 of our Colorado trip, make sure to hit the link above or in the description down below. Part 2 starts with us in Colorado Springs waking up for another adventurous day. So the hotel we stayed at did have free breakfast, so that was a fee that got covered. Now if you guys are going to be staying in hotels, I highly recommend making sure that you get ones with free breakfast. It just helps you guys stay more on a budget. So we drove an hour and 18 minutes to get to our first destination, which is Pikes Peak. Some things to know before you guys go. Now this is not a national park, so it's not free. It does cost $30 to get in. You guys also want to make sure that you guys have enough gas in whatever you guys are driving in. And since you guys are going on a steep incline all the way up, it takes a lot on your car, so you want to make sure that you have enough gas on your way up. They recommend that you guys have at least half of your tank full, so don't forget to hit those gas stations right before you go inside. Also, don't forget to bring snacks and something to drink. You can get really dehydrated if you're going to be taking a lot of hikes when you guys are out there, and make sure you guys bring some snacks. It is kind of a long adventure. It takes up a large portion of your day, so definitely make sure you have something to eat. Now, let's talk about the drive up. It was intense. At first it was cool because you have a couple little outlooks and you know there's some rocks around the side to make you feel a little bit safe, but as you start getting towards the switchbacks, there is no barrier and it feels like your car is just about to fly off into the sky if you keep going straight. Definitely take it slow and relax, and feel free to kind of stop off on the side whenever you guys want. There are tons of great outlooks and views from above. Now if you guys are lucky, you guys can be able to spot some big horned sheep. Now these guys that we saw were really interactive. They definitely loved the cameras and wanted to come up close. If too many people were around, they did feel threatened and wanted to kind of go off on their own and be away. But overall, they're pretty friendly. Now when you guys are at the top, that elevation really is going to kick in. If you're not used to being that high up, it is kind of hard to breathe. So take deep breaths and take it slow. When you are at the top, there is a visitor center. Right now they are doing some construction up there, so it's not the most beautiful thing in the whole entire world. But if you look past it and see the view below, it's really breathtaking. Also, make sure to grab one of their pamphlets before you guys go ahead and head up. It does give you a nice little map all the way to the top for you guys to see. Once we were done with Pikes Peak, we decided to go to our next destination, which was the Great Sand Dunes. Now this was a pretty long trip from Pikes Peak. It took us about 3 hours and 39 minutes to get there. But we got there just in time to hike up a little bit and get to see the sunset. So this is a national park and it is free to get into if you guys ever want to buy that America the Beautiful National Park Pass. I highly recommend. It is good for 1 whole year in all the national parks in America. It will save you money in the end. Because say if all the national parks were $25 and you did 4 of them, it already cost $100, which is more than the $80 annual park pass. If you guys decide not to get it, it is $25 to go inside. When you're at the Great Sand Dunes, it is a free-for-all. You just kind of roam wherever you want to, but get ready for a large hike. It takes a lot out of you guys to walk through sand. Now I decided to wear my waterproof shoes, and I thought that since water couldn't penetrate, that maybe sand couldn't penetrate, but that's not true because sand will be flying from every direction and it'll go inside the top of your shoes. So I highly recommend maybe just being barefoot or wearing sandals, because that sand is going to be in your shoes for the rest of your trip. Now on the map, you're going to see a whole bunch of mountain ranges right around the dune fields. You guys are going to be taking this really long drive all the way up to the visitor center, and the dunes parking is right after that. Now if you guys have 4-wheel drive, you guys can go ahead and keep driving all the way up, there's this trail that goes all the way up here. Now we didn't get to go all the way up here. We stayed right in the dunes parking since we did have a rent car and it didn't have four-wheel drive. This is also a really fun place to do sand sledding. If you guys want to bring your own sled, you totally can. I'm not sure if they sell them there. I didn't check on that, but I did see some people bring their own sleds. It is also a great place to take some very fashionable photos. We did see this one lady dressed in this really, really beautiful flowy red dress that had the sleeves and the end of the dress flowing in the wind and had professional photographers with her. So if you guys want to take any professional photos in a sand dune area, this is the place to go. Now, once we were done getting all the sand out of our shoes, we drove 3 hours and 40 minutes to get to our hotel because we wanted to sleep close to our next destination so we could just wake up and go. We stayed at the Black Canyon Motel in Montrose, Colorado. This was about 15 minutes from the Black Canyon, which is what we were going to do the next day, and it was really close to a couple of really cheap things to eat. I gotta say, this definitely was one of the nicer rooms that we stayed in. We got our own private little porch around the side, and the amenities were really, really nice. We stayed there, it was about $60, and it was a little bit more than I wanted to, but since I was planning the trip pretty late and it was really close to a tourist attraction, I was kind of expecting it. Since we did get to our hotel pretty late, it was around 9 or 10 o'clock, the only thing that was really open was an Arby's nearby, but that's okay because Arby's is good and it's cheap. Alright, last day in Colorado, let's go. Once again, our hotel had free breakfast, which was really, really nice. And then we took a nice little 15-minute drive to Black Canyon. This is a national park, so if you guys have annual park pass, it's free. If you guys don't, it's $20 to go in. Now when we got there, we had a couple choices to make. One, were we gonna go down inside the canyon and walk around, or were we just gonna stay on top, drive around the scenic route, and then kind of go on the outlooks. Since it was absolutely freezing when we went in November, it didn't seem like a great idea to go down inside the canyon where it was a little bit colder and there was some snow. So we decided to take the scenic route on the South Rim Road. Once again, you're going to want to make sure that you grab one of those little pamphlets because inside you're going to find a nice little map. So I kind of folded it down to help you guys see it easier. So we drove from here all the way over to the South Rim Visitor Center, and they have a lookout point called Gunnison Point. Now over here is where you guys can go down into the canyon on Oak Flat Trail, but we decided not to. So we drove on the South Rim Road. We went to Pulpit Rock Overlook. Kept going, and then we went to Devil's Outlook. And that was it for that trip. We didn't want to stay there for too long since we did have 2 other excursions to do that same day. Now for one of my favorite parts of Colorado was our drive to Telluride. It was about 1 hour and 57 minutes to get there, and the drive... Oh my gosh, guys. It was absolutely stunning. The mountains from all the different angles. Now you would see a mountain in the back and you'd be like, whoa, that looks really cool. And then you go around the corner and you wouldn't see it, but then you kind of pop around the other side and there it is again, even closer. Oh, guys. I love mountains. Now when you get to Telluride, it is a super, super cute town. Everything's kind of really bunched together along this main road, and you have mountains around the edges. When it is full on winter, the place gets packed because everyone wants to see the view of the town with the snowy mountains in the background. Now if you keep going through Telluride, you're going to end up getting to this mountain in the back where you guys can take the Bridal Veil Falls Trail. Now if you guys are going to be taking this in the fall or winter time, get ready to wear some ice picks on your shoes and bring some poles. We didn't have those, unfortunately. I wish we did, because the hike had a really, really steep parts where you guys had to climb up on rocks and there was ice everywhere. Also because it was really, really cold, the falls were not happening, but we did get to see part of Bridal Veil Falls that was frozen. If you guys are going to be taking this trail, make sure you do bring a lot of water and some snacks. It can take a while, especially if there is a lot of snow and ice. But once we were done, we decided to go back into town and get something to eat. We went to this place called the Butcher and the Baker. It was just kind of one of those quick bite places to go since we had to get to our next destination pretty quickly. Pretty much any place to eat in Telluride is really gonna be delicious. I do highly recommend the Butcher and the Baker if you guys want a really, really yummy sandwich or some chips or some fries or a pastry or some coffee. So we said bye-bye to Telluride and we went to Mesa Verde. Now, unfortunately, when we did get there, the sun had gone down, so there was barely any time for us to see anything. I definitely want to make sure that we can go back again to see all of the cliff dwellings. We only got to see it through a little telescope from far, far away. It was definitely hard to see with the sun going down, but we got to spot it and it was really cool. Now, Mesa Verde is free to go to with the annual park pass, but if you guys don't have it, it is $20 to go into. But that was our last excursion for Colorado. Once we were done, we headed to our hotel that was in Utah. We stayed at a place called Redstone Inn in Moab. Now, this place is really, really cute. It has these little cabins that you guys get to stay in, kind of like a community cabin with separate rooms. It was also really close to cool places to eat. We did have dinner at this place called the Blue Pig, which had food unbelievably yummy. Now, the Redstone Inn was the most expensive place that we did stay. It was about $75, but for how close it was to the next couple destinations we were going to go to, and the amenities that it had, and the way that it looked, and the fact that it was close to food, it was kind of worth it. So Colorado, it was very beautiful, I have to say. I definitely want to go back to see a couple of things like Mesa Verde, or maybe go back to Bridal Falls when it's summertime so we actually get to see the waterfall. That would be really, really cool. But my favorite part of Colorado trip part 2 definitely had to be the drive to Telluride, because the mountains that we saw, man, those were stunning. Another favorite part was definitely get to see the big horned sheep that were on Pikes Peak. That was very unexpected. They told us to probably expect them, but I had no idea they would be there. And just boom, there they were, right around the corner, looking at me right in the eye, giving me a nice big beautiful smile for the camera. So the biggest budget tip that we have for you guys from this video is to get that annual park pass. If you guys are planning to go to 4 or more national parks, this will definitely save you money. You can purchase these annual park passes at some of the national parks, or you can buy it beforehand so you guys don't have to worry about it when you're there. If you want to see our entire Colorado itinerary, make sure you check out the description down below. Make sure you guys tune in next Friday at 12 o'clock to see our trip to Utah part 1. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. America, beautiful. That's it.